Hey YouTube, yes, as the title says, we've been focusing on Great League primarily with a little bit of Ultra League this last video, but Master League will also be changing. So we're going to go over some of the Master League changes. It's funny because if you look at the rankings, there's the very obvious ones. What's gone up because they got buffed, what's gone down because it got nerfed. But then the rankings have changed substantially. Like you've also ranked to number 3, so we need to analyze why, right? So let's take a look at, so here's just a reminder of all the moves that have happened. So let's talk about the first most substantial nerf, Mudshot. Power increased, but the energy generation decreased. And that has caused Landorus, as you can see, you can't see here. Sorry, give me 1 second. As you can see here, Landorus went from number 3, and if we sort by switches, it was by far the best save swap with a score of 100 here. So it went from 3rd overall in the number 1 save swap to now number 11. So that Mudshot, just a little slower energy generation charging, drops it to number 11. It'll still be good, but here's the problem. What made it such a great save swap is Mudshot was so fast charging, right? You got basically 9 energy per turn. Now you're only getting 8. You got 9, and it only took 45 energy to get to a Sandsear Storm, which did 72 damage and 100% chance lowers your opponent's attack. So you used to get there in 5-5, probably straight 5s. Yeah, because it was a 9 turn. So you just got there straight 5s. Now it's 6-6-5-6. So right off the bat, you're not getting there as fast as you can to lower your opponent's attack. And that's the same thing with the Stone Edge. It's a 55 turn move. So now you lose at least 1 there, maybe 2, right? So getting to the move slower as a save swap, especially one that lowers your opponent's attack 100% of the time, not getting there as fast makes you worse, right? It's just, there's no two ways about it. So it will go down. I still think it'll be pretty strong in the Master League, but we'll go down a bit. The other things that got, I don't know if there's a bunch of stuff that got nerfed. In terms of move sets, okay, Groudon also has Mudshot, I guess, here. So Groudon with Mudshot. Ooh, where did Groudon go? Down to 31. So Precipice Blade, the Mudshot, same sort of thing, right? Precipice Blade was the main, like, nuke. Nuke. 60 energy, 156 damage, right? So, but it is 60 energy, so now getting that a little bit slower, maybe more bait dependent. So ground type Pokemon down a bit. There's a couple things up here that have arisen based on, let's just talk about the buffs. So you can see Solgaleo at number 4 with Fire Spin. So Fire Spin Solgaleo up to number 4. Heatran's still down there, so we're not going to worry about that. But up to number 4. And why is it at number 4? So it was already decent, I believe, in here. Yeah, it was already number 11 with the same moveset. Fire Spin, Psychic Fangs, and Iron Head. So basically, you buff Fire Spin, it goes up a bit. Why was it already so good? The kind of typing, Psychic Steel typing, picks up a lot of resistances here. Again, in meta that is dominated by Dragon, it's nice to have that Dragon resistance. That was one of them, right? So having that Steel resistant to Dragon, already a good start. Last time I checked, there's still a bunch of Dialgas out there, so having a buffed Fire Spin makes that even better. And now, when your first move is a Psychic Fangs, which lowers your opponent's defense, 100% chance lowering your opponent's defense, and now you have a hard hitting fast move, it just like, it combos the strength of this thing. So not only are you doing more just raw damage on the first Fire Spin, now that the damage is lower, you're doing even more so on the second one, on the ones you lower their defense, right? So just being able to kind of hit those Fire Spins with that typing moves it up here. The most hilarious one is Rhyperior at number 6. Yes, we know, like, to put it in perspective, Rhyperior, I can't even imagine registers in the top 50 before. No, 82. So jump from 82 to 6. And you must be asking, is Mudslap getting that much of a buff? Yes, it got a double buff, right? So it already hit hard, but it was slow charging. Now it hits even harder, and it's faster charging. So more damage, more energy. You still have the Breaking Swipe, which again is a non-stab move, so in pure raw damage, not the best at 50, but 50% chance of lowering your opponent's attack. It's a quick move, and now you're getting to it faster. And then what are they going to say? Rock Wrecker? Yeah. Then you got that Community Day Rock Wrecker, which is an insane amount of damage for 50 energy. Again, you're now getting to it faster. Rock Wrecker is probably pretty good in this meta because you have flyers like Yveltal and Ho-Ho, which is also flyer and fire. So they are doubly to rock. And you just got a couple things that rock just hits generally pretty hard against. There's not a ton that resist rock. Again, there's the steals that you got to watch out for, but you have them. If you're against a steel, you get the mud slap, right? So that doesn't matter too much. So yeah, kind of hilarious to see it up there, but that's the way it is. In terms of other moves, Florges. Fairy Wind got buffed. Florges was already the best fairy in this meta. Oh no, sorry, duh. Xerneas and Zacian were the best fairies because they had fast charging moves and coverage, right? They got by on their coverage. So you have Moonblast on Xerneas with the close combat for steals, and Zacian, same thing. You have Wild Charge, you have a Moonblast in the back there if you want that as well, and you have a close combat. So Florges limited because it only had fairy moves, but now Fairy Wind got a buff. Florges was always good as an option, but again, Xerneas and Zacian were always the two. So seeing Florges in number 9 is positive for people like me who don't have the XL candies for Zacian and Xerneas. Now, in practice, I don't know if this buff to Fairy Wind is worth moving it up that much for. Because you got to remember, so Fairy Wind only got a 3 to 4 power buff. So you're not charging faster. You're just doing a little more damage on your Fairy Winds. And in the Master League, when everything is so bulky, I can't imagine that one extra power is going to outweigh only having fairy type moves, right? And why Zacian and Xerneas were so strong is because they had that close combat for steals. Right? And look at what we have here. We have Solgaleo, which is half psychic, half steel, right? So that will resist all the fairy moves. You have Necrozma, which is half psychic, half steel. So it will resist all the fairy moves. If you had close combat, you can hit for neutral because it's half steel. But with Florges, you're being double resisted. Same thing with the Dawn Wings. It's steel and, or no, it's ghost and psychic. So that's neutral. Kyurem is just a pure dragon. Dragon Ice, yeah, that's fine. Ho-Ho as a fire. Fire resists fairy. So you have no moves to throw there. So when you're ranked number 9 and you have no moves to throw at number 4, 5, and 7, I don't like that. Now, don't get me wrong. Close combat Moonblast also has nothing to throw at Ho-Ho. Wild Charge would. If you're running Wild Charge on Zacian, it would. But again, with only having the Moonblast, it is more limited than the other fairies. So I'm not... Yes, it's moved up in the rankings. I don't know if in practice it will actually be as strong as that. I think Moltres again. I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off Moltres. Thought. So what has changed substantially? So if we look at the old rankings, Palkia and Zygarde just changed from 1 and 2, right? Nothing got nerfed here. They still got great bulk. They still got good movesets. So they're still the top ranked. I kind of already gone over why Solgaleo and Rhyperior are up. Yveltal jumped to number 3. And I think the reason it jumped to number 3 is because with more Solgaleos, potentially with Fire Spin, that's a half psychic, you'll hit super effective. The Necrozmas, once the Necrozmas, and everyone has Necrozma, not everyone, but like it's a lot easier to have Necrozmas and grind the XLs in that Go Fest than a lot of other legendaries. So a lot more people probably have Necrozmas, so you're hitting super effective there. Landorus needs to get to the Stone Edge, so it's a little slower to get there. Yes, you may see a little more Florges, but you already had to deal with Xerneas and Zacian, so this is not anything new you have to deal with. And now you have Rhyperior, same thing, where you got to watch out for the Rock Wrecker, so it could be potential bait dependent, but you're still resisting all the mud slaps and probably just going to outpace, right? So worth a bump just based on sort of the meta what has risen. Ho-Ho's still 7. It's got to be close to what it was before. Down at 16 before. Again, it's still... Ho-Ho's always been one of the top... I mean, definitely the top fire Pokemon in the Master League. You don't really have a lot of fire in general in the Master League. But one of the top flyers as well. And what it did well is that it has like 2 sort of nukes. It's got Sacred Fire, which does 156 damage and has a 50% chance of lowering your opponent's attack, or you just Brave Bird. So Brave Bird is the quicker move, same damage. Brave Bird is the quicker move, obviously lowers your defense times 3, where Sacred Fire, same damage, more energy, but a 50% chance of lowering your opponent's attack. So having 2 nukes with your level 50 bulk is a nice combo there. And there's not a ton of just like water in this meta. There's Palkia, yes, we know that. And there's probably Kyogre, but even Kyogre is way down low now. It hasn't really been useful in a while in the Master League. Talking like an expert, like I play constantly. I do not play Master League much, but I know enough of the meta to know what's going on. Dragonite dropped from the... this one I have to think about even more, quite honestly. And I'll let the Master League people below give me their thoughts. Dragonite dropped from non-Shadow 4 and Shadow 9 to 18 and 20. And it's not like anything got nerfed here. So the only 2 things I could think of were, one, because there's Fairy Wind, Florges jumped up, so there may be more Florges, so that as Dragonite you have nothing to throw against that. So that's already a 1 sort of notch off the belt there. And same thing with like the Landorus matchup. Yes, it has Stone Edge, which is super effective, but for the most part, Mudshot and Sand Storm aren't going to do anything, so they have to get to the nuke. So when you see these like half flyers, but then there's the same thing with Rhyperior. Rhyperier's up there. So again, I'm kind of confused on Dragonite. The only thing I can think of is the Florges buff. But is that enough to drop you down, like, to rank 18? Let me just take a look at the matchups just to see. 13 to 16 record. Yeah, you're going to get killed by the fairies. You're always going to get killed by the fairies. I guess more Solgaleos as a steal will resist your Dragon type move. But you're always going to lose these anyways. Again, I guess there's more just Necrozma and yeah, but that should have changed the rankings before too, if there's more of these. So I don't know. I don't know about Dragonite, why it's lower. But this is the new meta. It's a little tougher to do this analysis on my end because, again, I don't play it as much. My guess, though, just looking at these rankings, I would not be surprised if there's more Yveltal, because that should be obvious with the Necrozmas. Yveltal was already on the rise because of the Necrozmas, and now with Solgaleo, it should be on the rise even more. And then again, I don't love Rhyperior. I don't know about Rhyperior. Let me just take a look at Rhyperior's matchups to see how much of this is like bait dependent. So it only has a 19 and 10 record, which is quite good. Yeah, obviously you're going to beat the steals because you got the... So there is a good amount of steals. And it says you do beat like Yveltal and stuff like that. Now, I'm wondering if this is bait dependent. See, bait a Breaking Swipe and then land a Stone Edge. Oh, sorry, a Rock Record. If you didn't bait a Breaking Swipe, can you win? 6 HP. So yeah, very energy dependent. Because I'm guessing one energy, one fast move here, advantage. Oh, it got Sucker Punch. That's why Yveltal went up. Sorry. Oh, man. People are going to call me out for that. Yveltal got Sucker Punch. And it used to run Snarl, which was low damage, high energy. But now you get an okay energy with a really high damage move. So that is why it has risen up. 14 minutes in, we're going to leave it. So that is the reason Yveltal rose up. I'll kind of I'll do like a like a closed caption correction sort of thing. Saying, I explained this at the end of the video. Yes, Yveltal got Sucker Punch. And Sucker Punch went up from 5 to 8 power, which is a substantial power increase, right? So now you're doing a lot of damage with like decent, okay energy generation. So that's why you've gone up. Plus, you still, again, Solgaleo and Necrozma, that has not changed. Yeah, but I can't imagine you're going to see less of this other stuff, like Zygarde, Palkia, I was going to say, where is your Dialga? Dialga is always lower ranked, but in play, yeah, it's ranked at 29. But I know in play, it plays better than its rank. So Dialga is like, you'll still have most of the main meta. So I think it'll be the main metas, maybe a little more Yveltals, maybe more Florges. I'm interested to see Rhyperior in action. Again, I already laid out my bias in the Ultra League video. I have played with Gastrodon and Dugtrio that have Mudslap pre this buff, and it's garbage. It's a terrible move. Now, it got double buffed, right? It has more damage and more energy because it was such a bad move. But I still had those lingering sort of thoughts in my head about this move. But maybe in action, it is now much, much, much better. And maybe it does deserve that 6 ranking. This is one that we're going to have to wait and see. Could I even play with the Master League Rhyperior? I probably have the XLs. I don't even know if I have a hundo, but I definitely have the XLs to do a level 50 if I want to. So we'll see. I can actually now. No, I can. It's funny because I can create a team in the top 10. Although that team in the top 10 is going to be Necrozma because I grinded so much at the New York Go Fest. So I have Necrozma, I can do a Rhyperior, and I can do a Florges. So, yay! Great Master League team. I can put that together. And they're in the top 10. I don't know if it actually makes sense. I'll actually have to think about it, but we'll see. Anyways, that is the Master League. Again, I don't know. Yeah, send me some videos. Again, views don't lie. There's an XL problem. A lot of people don't play Master League. I know it's a very small set of people who play Master League, so maybe it's only going to affect maybe a 10th of you who are watching this video. Those are my first thoughts on it. Anyways, my last, I guess, top teams tomorrow for the season, and then one more week. There is actually still a week. So if you made a legend run or close to it, or you're grinding, you want me to like review your battles, link in the description. I can review those during the last week because as much as I like talking about the next season and that there are still people trying to hit legend this season. So send me some battles, please. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.